On we go to the first of the big ones on day 4 of Leopardstown's Christmas meeting. It's the 2.5 mile Willis Towers Watson Irish EBF Mares Hurdle, a valuable black type race, €40,000 in total prize money. It's a grade 3. Won last year by Let's Dance. She's back to defend her crown. Jessica Harrington, though, has the beneficial mare. Number 1, Forge Meadow, the mount of Robbie Parr. 2, Let's Dance, Paul Townend. 3, Dawn Shadow, Rachel Blackmore. 4 is Grace Mount, Mark Walsh. 5, Cara Lee, David Mullins rides. Good each way support for that. 6, over from England, Philip Kirby, the trainer. Adam Nicholl will ride Lady Buttons. 7, Mary Francis is Sean Flanagan. 8, Paula Present, Cheek Pieces, Donna Myler. And number 9, Mega Mendy, Alan Fleming, the trainer. The owner is Barry Connell. And the jockey, Dennis O'Regan. Tom Lee, Let's Dance. 10-9 on favourite, but easy in the market.
Yes, she won this race 12 months ago. She's top rated, and yet she comes off the back of a fall. She hasn't got miles in hand on official ratings, and this has been a 4 days so far where we've seen plenty of thrills and spills, horses at very short prices getting turned over, bookmakers probably getting much the better of the battle, I think.
I see even money in the ring.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's been indicative of what's been happening on the betting exchanges. Why? Where's the money coming? Well, that's very clear. It's Carolee, number 5, who's 7-1 into 5-1, shorter now, in fact, 9-2. She'll be suited, you'd think, stepping back up in trip here. It just seemed to be that really the 2 miles at Thurles a couple of weeks ago wasn't far enough for her, so back up to 2.5 miles today. She's only got £4 to find on official figures. And the other one, surely this is something that you can say, well, maybe it's putting 2 and 2 together, but there has to be a little hint of a clue in here. Look at Lady Buttons, number 6. Why on earth would Philip Kirby, who had her in at Doncaster today, granted the meeting was abandoned, but he'd already committed to this race, tip in itself that he crosses the Irish Sea. She is high class. She won over fences at Bangor the last day, but she's got stacks of good hurdles form, and she's been very well backed each way, 15-2 into around about 5 or 6-1. She has a definite chance, the British trained horse.
Yeah, even money about Let's Dance. I wonder will the punters be tempted into that. Seems to me, anyway, to be the standout mare in this upcoming race. But number 3 is Dawn Shadow, an interesting one for Dot Love, of course, who trains. Her assistant is Kieran Murphy, and he's been speaking to Andy Mack.
I'm joined by Kieran Murphy, assistant to Irish Grand National winning trainer Dot Love, and they saddled Dawn Shadow in this. Kieran, she's had some good races in listed company, but a little step up today.
Yeah, she's a bit defined in ratings with the top 2, Andy, but you know, she's an improving mare. We've been very happy with her all season. I suppose, to be honest, we felt the last day in Thurles we might have left it behind us. We maybe got it tactically wrong, but I mean, move on from that, and we're hoping that it's not too soon for her. It's only 12 days, but if she runs a race and she fires, she should be bang there.
The trip will be a bit more to her liking?
Yeah, definitely. We've always thought she wants further than 2 miles. Like, listen, she'll probably be running over 2 miles, you know, this season a bit as well, but long term, you know, she is a 2.5 mile mare.
And Ted Walsh's famous quote is, I wrote her mother, I wrote this one's aunt. And Sean Riley, the owner breeder, he's got a great family of mares.
Yeah, he's, you know, it's a phenomenal family. He's done a super job with the family, you know. He's picked the right sires. He's, you know, we've broken them all as 2-year-olds, the one that were going into training, and he's given them the time, and he's starting to reap the rewards now. And you know, the fillies seem to be very good, you know, and they're all genuine, and when they get to the races, they run the races.
I hope she will as well today. Best of luck, Kieran.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you.
But at 6,
okay, let's have a look at Mikey.
She's the mount of Paul Townend and trained by Willie Mullins. She's our current Mayor's Novice Hurdle winner in Cheltenham, but unfortunately broke Ruby's leg the last day, but she's still the one we have to beat.
Yeah, and we just heard Kieran Murphy talk about Dawn Shadow, what a great mare she's been and what a credit she is to Sean Riley. I'm sure he's getting plenty of kick out of her. Looking for a bit more black type here. She got some valuable stuff at Thurles the last day. Rachel gets on well with her, and I'm sure she'll get on well today. She's a few pounds to find on Let's Dance, but if the fancied ones are having an off day, she'll be around.
Number 4 is Grace Mount for Sean Doyle and Mark Walsh. Won her last race at Limerick 3 days ago on St. Stephen's Day, so a short turnaround. Goes again here. Beat Pat's Oscar by 7 lengths the last day at Limerick, but this is a step up.
5 is Cara Lee. She had a big reputation last year. Her comeback run was 3rd in Thurles. She's a pound well in with Let's Dance, and I think she'll give her most to think about.
And 6 is Lady Buttons, the English runner. Philip Kirby Adam Nicholl on board. This filly won 3 nice hurl races on the trot last year. Her last run was over fences when she won as well too. She had a good comeback run as well. She's a very good mare. I'm sure they're taking their shot here if Let's Dance isn't on top gear. But she's a very good mare and sure to run a big race. She's a rate of 134.
Number 7 is Mary Frances from Martin Hassett and Sean Flanagan. Only once out of the top 3 in the last 4 runs, and that was when she fell at Thurles last month. Small in stature, wants the soft ground. She liked this though. Okay, let's go down to Andrew McNamara at the start.
Yeah, my earpiece is just after falling out here. The 2 that you can see just behind us looking at the hurdle are Dawn Shadow, who we previously spoke about, and Cara Lee, which is apparently the second Willie Mullins string. And finally the English Raider just coming up for a look at the hurdle. Looks like a race here that there might be a huge amount of pace. Amazingly, 6 of the 9 runners have made it, and yeah, so it could be an awful lot of hot pace. One who did make it last time out when they won was Forge Meadow, and she came down to the start very keen with Robbie Power, so I'd imagine that will definitely be one that will be very handy. And finally, the last one coming down to have a look is Dunham Eiler there, who rode a big winner yesterday. He rides Polar Present, won the big one on Annabelle Fly, and Polar Present is another one who has made the running, so I'd imagine there will be quite a lot of pace in this.
Tactical battle then, if they're all going to try and make the running here. We'll see what happens. I mean, for me, Ted, I'd be amazed if Let's Dance doesn't win this, but obviously with these stables, they again haven't been in great form.
No, but she's a very good mare. She'll appreciate the good gallop as well too. She stays well. She just took a brave fall at Punchestown. She just took off too far, way too far. She was on the way down for a long ways and caught Ruby badly when she landed. He got a right old doing and broke his leg, but she's been a very good mare to him over the years and a very good mare to Rich Ritchie. There's Alan Fleming's runner there for Barry Connell, Mega Mindy. She was a winner in France and she'd only had the 1 run here when she ran behind Forge Mella at Punchestown. She's a good bit to find on that run, but I'm sure she'll run a better race today.
Yeah, Forge Meadow in your picture there for Jessica Harrington. Robbie Power, she won last time out at Punchestown over 2.25 miles in a hurdle race on soft to heavy ground. That was the first race she settled into all year, according to Jessie. Highly strung mare. She'll need to settle down here.
And these old mares that might be a bit free as well too, with the old wind blowing in their face and that too, it can often affect horses, can't it, Mikey?
Yeah, I see Grace Mount has a hood on it. She probably a little bit keen, but that'll help her on a windy day.
Let's go down for the latest in the betting. Any money for Let's Dance, Brian?
You can get 11 to 10 down here, Hugh, if you wanted. We're happy to have a bet for you. Even money, Caroline 9 to 2, and Forge Meadow and Lady Button 6 to 1 each of 2, Tom.
On the exchanges outside is shortening up dramatically. Polar Present, the 8 horse, 50 to 1 into 25 to 1, and also Grace Mount, similar odds, into 16 to 1. Richard Pugh will call them home, racing in the 120.
Yes, that's it. They've just jumped away in the Willis Towers Watson Grade 3 hurdle race over 2.5 mile, and as per earlier, we're not jumping what would have been the last hurdle, so they're going to have a long run from the second last all the way home in this one. But it's Forge Meadow who goes into the early lead, going to take them along, and has quickly opened up a gap of 3 to 4 lengths or so, being followed through the early part of the race towards the inside rather, Polar Present. Mary Frances is next, and then Dawn Shadow, and further back behind these to Lady Buttons. The grey is Cara Lee, with Let's Dance on the outside of Grace Mount, and a couple of lengths break to the back marker in the early stages, which is Mega Mindy. So the race now across the bottom of the course and on towards flight number 2. They'll have a long run before they meet their third, but Forge Meadow is going to forge out the early running from Polar Present racing in second. Mary Frances third towards the outside of Dawn Shadow, who's 4. This leading group of 4 are being chased by Cara Lee the grey, and then towards the outside is the sheepskin noseband of Lady Buttons, improving up a position. There's a couple lengths break further back to last year's winner, Let's Dance, who's on the outside of Grace Mount, the most recent winner, a winner at Limerick just 3 days ago. It'll be a big double for her if she can follow up here at Leopardstown, and the back marker is the 4-year-old in the field, the youngest member of the party, Mega Mindy, in the Barry Connell colours with Dennis O'Regan aboard. So now they just switch outside this hurdle. Flagman positioned to remind these riders, and it is Forge Meadow, winner last time for the Jessica Harrington team. Robert Power aboard, being followed in second spot by Polar Present. Donna Myler aboard, he's had a big day already with Annabelle Fly earlier in the week. Then towards the inside is Dawn Shadow, the mount of Rachel Blackmore. She was third in the big one yesterday in Outlander. Next up behind these leading group of 3 is Lady Buttons. Adam Nicholl and Phil Kirby have made the journey. Next in behind these towards the inside is Cara Lee and David Mullins. Had fortune on his side earlier in the week with Whiskey Sour. They're being followed then towards the outside by Mary Frances. Sean Flanagan took the big one yesterday, and he has a couple behind. Let's Dance is one of those. Paul Townend He'll be hoping for a big hour and a half or so. He's got Faugheen in about an hour and 10 minutes, and the back marker is Mega Mindy, the mount of Dennis O'Regan. So they're all safely out over that one and continuing on towards the next before they turn into the back straight. And it's Forge Meadow who leads them on. From in second spot, Polar Present. Dawn Shadow's right there in third. Lady Buttons, Carol Lee. They're being followed by Grace Mount is next. Mary Frances loses position. Mega Mindy just a little awkward over that one as they turn now to make their way around the bend at the top of the track and shortly turning into the back straight. Forge Meadow, Polar Present racing in second. Dawn Shadow third down the inside. They're being followed by Lady Buttons, who's 4. Just in behind this group, towards the inside is Cara Lee. Then just behind this one, a further link back to Grace Mount. Let's Dance, last year's winner, is next. Mary Frances is towards the back of the field, and Mega Mindy is the back marker. A well-bred group of fillies here make their way into the back straight. 3 beneficials at King's Theatre representing a polyglot, well chosen. They're a very well-bred bunch, and there's a grade 3 offering at the winning post for one of them as they head towards the first of the 3 flights along the back straight. It's Forge Meadow, Polar Present. Dawn Shadow's about 3 lengths further back. Mary Frances looks as though she's going to be pulled up, the first one to call enough, as they head towards the first of 3 along the back. 4 and all from home. Forge Meadow's going to make it an honest test now. Polar Present is second. Third down the inside is Dawn Shadow, and they're being chased by Lady Buttons. Just behind this one goes Cara Lee, and then towards the outside Grace Mount. Let's Dance is next, and Mega Mindy is back marker of the group. But Forge Meadow has kept them honest. Goes towards the flight right across from the stands. Polar Present racing in second. Third down the inside is Dawn Shadow. Jumped that well, Dawn Shadow. Not as quick, Lady Buttons. Just behind them towards the inside is Cara Lee, with the other Rich Richie jacket towards the outside. That one is Let's Dance. They're being followed by Grace Mount and the back marker Mega Mindy. This is the second last flight, but a lot of racing still to do as Forge Meadow leads them over from Polar Present, jumping it in second. Dawn Shadow was third, and then Lady Buttons. Cara Lee is towards the inside of Let's Dance, the stable companion, and they're being followed further back into the bend by Grace Mount, and Mega Mindy remains the back marker. So now they turn out of the back straight and race across towards the final flight, but still plenty of racing to do, and it is Forge Meadow who has led them since the white flag came down, being chased in second spot by Polar Present. Dawn Shadow is third, Lady Buttons is 4. Let's Dance is making good ground into contention on the outside. Grace Mount is next. Cara Lee is dropped quickly out, and Mega Mindy can't go with them. Heading on now towards the final flight, and in front it is Forge Meadow who's going to lead them over from Let's Dance, getting into contention on the outside. On the inside, Dawn Shadow. Right behind them, Polar Present has lost position. Lady Buttons is trying to pick up, and they go away from Grace Mount as they begin to swing in now, and it's Forge Meadow who leads them in, but Let's Dance, last year's winner, looms large now over on the near side. Dawn Shadow's ridden in third. Fourth behind these is Lady Buttons, and this quartet have drawn clear from Polar Present. Forge Meadow has a big challenge on hand now on the near side. Let's Dance is coming to challenge and begins to just about take over. Forge Meadow's going to have to mount a big challenge to get back at her now, because Let's Dance comes right over onto the stand side rail. Forge Meadow plots a more direct course towards the winning post, but on the near side it's Let's Dance. She's beginning to pick up and lengthen now, and she's beginning to go clear, and Rich Richie's been out of luck with Min, he's been out of luck with Sharjah. He's got a big hour and a half coming, and this is going to set it off just as he would like. It's going to be Let's Dance who takes back-to-back mares hurdles. Back in second is Forge Meadow. Dawn Shadow was third. They were followed in by Lady Buttons and Polar Present. Long gap to Grace Mount, Mega Mindy, and the final one to go by was Cara Lee. Paul Townend will have enjoyed that. The Willie Mullins machine is well oiled. I hope Faugheen is in an hour and 10.
Worried, Ted? Were you ever worried?
I was never worried. I thought she was travelling well. With the second last hurl out of it, you knew well that Paul wasn't going to be in any hurry. He had picked off Forge Meadow when he jumped that. He moseyed up there on the outside. She's full of running. But just watch the way when he switches her over onto the stand rail and he goes away from Forge Meadow, the way she pricks her all ears. That was the only concern, that she might pull herself up. But then Paul just pulled his stick into his hand and gave her a shake, and away she went. You'll see her in a moment now. She turns in, Mikey. As you say, Paul comes to the stand rail here. They missed the second last hurl, so they're being pushed out anyway.
Yeah, no, Davy Russell did it yesterday on Apple's Jade, and the rail can help you when you're getting a bit lonely and the crowd is there. He gave her a fantastic ride. He gave her a chance early on. He kept her wide for a clean side of her hurdles after getting the fall the last day. But she's a class filly in the race, and Paul only gave her a belt or two, and she won snug enough in the end.
Forge Meadow's run a cracker. She's the second best filly in the race, and she's run a crack on the far side. Just watch, she just pricked her all ears there for a few strides there, but once he gave her a couple of smacks, she went away and won well. She did what she's entitled to do. She's the highest rated filly. She won the hurl at Cheltenham last year, and she'll be back as a contender again next year, or this year.
I imagine Paul Townend relieved, though.
Definitely.
Yeah, you'd like to see him going right. I mean, he had a few misfortunate things to go wrong with you, like Dalhurst fell yesterday in the chase when he was jumping well, and a couple of them run well. You just some days it's not your day, and things go arseways for you. But then when all goes right, I think he's back again for him. The main thing is not to change what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. This is a high-class jockey. He's not doing anything wrong. It's just the ball didn't bounce right for him, and now it comes right. The whole thing, as they'll tell you, is don't change.
And isn't it that at the mark of Willie as well, that he wouldn't react or panic to things like that if they're not
I'd
going
say Willie is the greatest man that you could ride for, because Willie, he's easy going. Whatever he has to say to you, say it in private, make no scene, and he's a great man to ride for. All right through the whole years, as Mikey rode for him as well too. He'll use Ruby, Patrick, Paul, the lad Danny, David, Mikey, Katie, whoever's working in the yard. Willie is a great man to ride for, isn't he?
He's easier to ride for in a race than he is to ride a bit of work at home.
Really?
Yeah. He's actually a calmer fella at the races. Even in Cheltenham when all the cameras are on you and all the pressure, he's just a great man to ride for.
Okay, let's hear from the man himself. Paul Townend is with Andy Mack.
Had to avoid a couple of horses first. Paul, was a good performance again from her?
It was, yeah. It's tough going out there today. There's a fair headwind up the straight, and the ground is a lot deader than it was the other days. And good performance, went a good gallop. Didn't mean to be dropped in as far as it was, but thankfully it worked out, and hopefully that'll be the luck changing.
And she won the Nat Lacey 50 grand bonus for the yard last year. Was there a good party after that?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And looking ahead for the rest of the day, you've got two good rides next with Rackvinden.
Yeah, Monalee's high class horse. We have a lot of experience. I think 3 miles will suit him, so hopefully he can put up a good account of himself.
And you mentioned about the headwind there. Faheen will be a likely front runner. Do you think that will be a disadvantage to him?
Please welcome no, look, he's the best horse in the race, and hopefully that won't complicate.
Well, hopefully it's starting a big day for you, Paul.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, great to see him in the winners' enclosure, you have to say, and for Willie as well. They've had a tough week, as you mentioned, and it's not often you say that about Willie and his horses, but certainly Paul gave it super. It was a bit like Davy Russell yesterday in Apple's Jade, Ted. He just held until he had to get to work, and he knew exactly when to get to work.
Yeah, well, this old mare doesn't like to be in front too soon. Apple's Jade doesn't mind being in front. This old filly just takes her time. When she gets there, she pricks her old ears and hangs on a bit, but everyone will be relieved that it goes well. You expect these to win.
Ruby did the same on her in Cheltenham last year. It was one of the best rides of the week. He just came out of nowhere, and he just had one rattle in the last 500 yards, so
she doesn't do a lot when she gets there. Good for Rich Ritchie too. He's a great supporter of the racing and a great supporter of Willie's yard. He's a lot of good horses, but he's a lot of horses that just went arseways there for a few days. Like in losing Vatour last year was a huge dump.
A hammer blow.
Then Duvan to be out of action as well too.
Annie Power retired.
Vroom Vroom Mag retired, or not retired, out of action anyway. And like, you want the good, the top horses to come and do it for you, like Let's Dance and like Faheen now, hopefully in an hour's time.
That win is, Paul mentioned, it's going to be tough out there today. He said, look, if you can get a bit of cover, you take it today and you ride your luck.
Absolutely. The last thing you want to do is like turning in front there and a headwind hitting you again, and it can wear horses out, and it's great to get a lead for as long as you can. And it certainly helped Paul there today. He knew what he was doing. He went over to the outside rail. That's a help. That's a bit of company for you as well. And when horses get lonely in front and get a bit tired, they can start wandering, and a rail can help you just keep straight and get you over the line.
There's Rich Ritchie there, just getting Patrick info, and Patrick obviously alongside him.
She's a good mare. He's come across a couple of very good mares, Richie, like with Vroom Vroom Mag and Annie Power, and now this mare as well too. She's a high class mare, and
she's by the great sire Polyglow,
and Limony as well too. So if he ever decides to go breeding off him, he'll have some bunch of mares. And I must say Forge Meadow ran a cracker as well in second. They were a high class bunch of mares, well bred mares, and they ran right up to their mark. The handicapper will be happy as well too. That wasn't a handicap, but it's nice to see them all run close to their mark.
He's one in the yard called Salsaretta, who's up there for the mares novices hurdle. I haven't seen too much of her, but the word is that she's pretty good. Let's get down to Tracy.
Yes, I'm joined by Rich Ritchie, back where he belongs. Lovely to have you here, and well done. She's tough, isn't she?
Thank you. She is tough. I didn't think she was travelling, actually, the first time they passed the stands. And I'd say we were lucky. I mean, it's a winner, so, those have been few and far between this week, but I think pure ability got her through, actually. Paul said she didn't feel quite right, so we'll have to see.
I saw you having a long chat with Paul. Is that what he was saying?
I think he kind of killed her into the race, and then she finally started getting going. Didn't want to disappoint her, so we'll see how she is, but that's much better anyway than the last day, so it's a winner anyway. That's good.
And Forge Meadow, I mean, she was putting up to her.
Oh yeah, Forge Meadow's a good horse, and I don't think that was any fluke the last day. I thought she was travelling better than us when Let's Dance fell the last day, so no, it's a good race, and disappointed in Carolee. Just for whatever reason, some of these just don't seem to be sparking, so I'm sure we'll have a big rethink after the holidays, but look, it's a winner and we're delighted to have one.
And hopefully there'll be another one very soon in Forheen. He was absolutely fantastic when we saw him last time out, and I'm sure you're really looking forward to it.
Yes, he was brilliant the last day, but given this week, nothing is certainty. So hopefully he gets around and wins and sets up a big clash with Bouverdaire in March.
Yeah, it's exciting. Great to see you. Well
Thanks,
done.
Tracy. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Talk to you later.
Let's Dance. If you're sitting at home saying even money, that's a mistake in the graphic. It's not, because it's quite correct. Overnight, early morning, Let's Dance was put in 13-8 on favourite, but she was friendless in the ring. In fact, there was a little bit of 11-10, and you'd never really get too much anxious moments. And Let's Dance wins even money favourite by 8 lengths, wins it for the second consecutive year. She was 3-1 on favourite when she won it last year. Even money this afternoon. Forge Meadow second at 6-1, and third, number 3, Dawn Shadow at 16-1. We'll have much more action coming up after this commercial break.